Welcome into the KSR football podcast presented by our Friends of Cole. Friends of Cole. It's resilient, it's reliable, it's affordable. It's been a big part of our state's past. It's going to be a big part of our future. Find out more at friendsofcolekentucky.org. Friendsofcolekentucky.org. Go on, visit Friends of Cole. Hang out with us. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm Nick Roush. That's Van Hiles. And Adam Luckett, Drew Franklin. He's driving back from Buffalo where he was jumping through tables and eating wings and watching Ray Davis. So it's just us three hanging out today talking about Kentucky and Tennessee Tech and the game next weekend at Vandy. How are you doing today, Van? I like that your shirt. You just get to did one of your children get you that shirt at least?
Man, look, I have a hierarchy in my closet. When I wash them and hang them up, the next man wins. And this was the next man, and it just happened to be this shirt.
You're just trying to brag that you're the best ever, you know?
I better be. I'm the best and only. I'm hoping.
Mr. Luckett, we've had an interesting day, and I have lots of thoughts after Mark Stoops' press conference, but I think we probably should start with talking about Kentucky's victory over Tennessee Tech, which we've already dabbled on. We touched on the rapid reaction, but yeah, Stoops gave us a lot to chew on with that press conference. We've also got a game against number 12 Vanderbilt looming on the horizon to discuss. But first things first, Tennessee Tech win. Cats win 42-10. Never really a doubt. They scored on 6 of their first 8 possessions. Cutter Boley named SEC Freshman of the Week for the 3rd straight week. What was your favorite part of the win, Mr. Luckett?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say that they, for second game in a row, running over 200 yards. They're finding the balance that they want offensively, and I think that's only going to help the passing game moving forward. That they're finding more success, I think, to be more balanced offensively. It makes this offense, I think, more sustainable. So, and they're getting some explosive plays here in the ground game, really in these second halves that they start leaning on teams. And so I think they're going to need that here in these next 2 games. So for me, I would go just the offensive balance in general. I thought, anytime you play a team like Tennessee Tech, if you're a big team, I think a lot of the game comes down to your offensive line. If your offensive line is kind of controlling the line of scrimmage, you're upset proof, I think, in those games. Where you can get in trouble is if you're kind of messing around, you're not winning the line of scrimmage, and then you become easier to stop. I thought Kentucky's offensive line really 2 weeks in a row is kind of taking over the game. So I think that was good to see. So I would say offensive balance was the best thing I saw last week.
Which that surprises me, Van, because everybody's quick to talk about the quarterback, and it's like, no. We're run the damn ball. This is a run the damn ball program.
Well, wasn't Adam a offensive lineman in high school? So there you go.
That's right.
He's gonna pub his guys up, man. I understand. And since I'm gonna pub up my guys, look, when you on your 5th or 6th corner this year,
yeah,
and you hold a team to under 150 yards passing, I don't care who you playing. If we're playing Tate's Creek. Tate's Creek will probably get 100-some yards on this secondary if the corners were not up to task. I'm just amazed that we were able to play as well in the secondary with first career starts from 2 of the secondary members. That was crazy.
Yeah, so Teron Nichols missed his third straight game. DJ Waller was a game time decision the week prior. They said, we're not gonna play him this week. We're not even gonna dress him and give him a try. And then Nasir Addison, he had recorded his first career start against Florida. He was banged up, and now they're saying, I think we're gonna try to keep his red shirt on. And because he played his first 2 years on special teams, they liked what they saw. So they started a true freshman, Grant Grayton, at cornerback against Tennessee Tech. Yeah, pretty thin, Van. I'd say pretty thin, and I at least hope that by saying that they want to redshirt Addison, that they feel good that they're going to get one or both of Nichols and Waller back for these final 2 games of the season.
You need both back. You can't get one because then if one gets hurt, then who are you going to go to? You
Freshman.
got exactly. So in essence, why not just start the freshman? Man, that's I don't know about that one. I don't know about trying to save a red shirt when you're 5-5. Now we were 7-3, maybe, but not 5-5. When win one of these games, you're in a bowl game. It's no way. Well, I would not. And I guess nowadays with NIL and players have more control over their career, I guess he could say, "Coach, I'm not playing either." So I don't know if you have. Yeesh, I don't know what you can do in this situation, but he needs to play if he can.
Well, and I think that might be the issue. It's like, hey, we would like to do this. We might not be able to, but this is what we hope we can do over the final two games because you never know what's going to happen. And last year, in a similar instance, I mean, they had David Rayner dressed and warming up for every game. He just didn't go in. So, if Addison is healthy, they might be one of those where he's not necessarily expecting his number to be called, but he has to be ready in case it does happen if there is an injury or something like that. But the other point, though, is, you're right. You didn't feel like a huge letdown from those guys. And even Cam Dooley, I know they say he's almost like a third starter the way he had played through the first 9 games of the season. But it's a whole different thing when it's, no, you are the starter and – okay, now I'm going to go out there and get a pick and force a fumble. Like that was it's about as good as it gets for your first start to go out there and get a pick and almost create a second turnover when you force that fumble late in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's easy to get your footing as a backup. You can get the tempo of the game. You can see how the offense is running, how fast or how slow or how aggressive their receivers, running backs are. A little easier to go in that after the first 2 or 3 series. But when you got to start the game, it's a whole nother animal. And especially your first start, that was impressive. That pick to me was one of the better picks I've seen in a long time. Not the pick, but him turning his body to prevent the ball from being jarred from him was high level IQ for him to even think about that after scooping it up. That was a great pick by him.
And that's back-to-back weeks. There's been a defensive back from that class who's had an impressive interception. First, it was Dooley this week, and then Quashid Scott the week prior. Which maybe we've been saying Quashid Scott's name wrong the whole time. Luckett, it might be Quashid. I don't know. Let me look up because I kept hearing over the JMI broadcasts the way they were. I was like, are we saying his name wrong? Are they like what's going on here? I need to get that right. Let's see here. It's pronunciation. Do they not have it?
So it is a silent Y. You know what? The high comma scratches off the pronunciation of the Y, so it blends together. That might be it.
Yeah, we've been wrong the whole time. On UK, it's Quashid Scott.
There you go.
There you go.
Quashid Scott sounds much more badass, though. Am I right there? Or
a little
whatever.
bit. A little bit. That's an emphasis on that Y. Quaid, then Quad, like it's kind of like soft. I don't like it.
My high school chemistry teacher said I need to go by Roush so that the whole crowd could go Roush if ever, made a big play. Didn't make enough big plays, though, to get that little Thiesman situation going on. But I want to go back to the offense because Cutter freaking Boley, man, that guy. It's so much fun when you got a quarterback who can do this, and it feels like we've been waiting years for this. And this isn't, I don't want to diminish what Steven Johnson did or what Will Levis did, and then even to a degree what Terry Wilson did. But the stuff that Cutter Boley's doing as a redshirt freshman, 6 starts in, where he's doing it all. He's dropping bombs. He's throwing lasers in between defenders, and then he's running around guys and then through them. Like this guy, wow, this is awesome. It's incredible. You thought going into this year, well, if X, Y, and Z happens, the ultimate cheat code, Luckett, is just to have a badass at quarterback. And it's a cheat code that has evaded Mark Stoops for years. And they finally got one. They got a good one in Cutter Bowley.
Yeah, I think just the biggest thing with Cutter to me is he's improving every week. And that's rubbing off, I think, on the team. The team's improving every week, and I think he's part of that, both offensively and defensively. There's buy-in. You can tell they believe in the quarterback, and I think you see them ascending. And with Cutter, to me, some of the completion stuff, they're throwing it short, but to be on time and to get the ball out there, play in a rhythm that's allowing them to really have success, and I think consistently move the ball, consistently create scoring chances. And for him, some of the stuff in the run game, you want to be careful, but that stuff like that, really fires up the team. And you saw that. And guys want to play for him, and the energy around them right now, Nick, is good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's at kind of all-time levels right now.
It feels like they're never going to lose a damn game again, Van. I don't even know how to – I don't even know how to describe it. There's just a confidence.
Just a belief.
Yeah.
There's just a belief.
I guess the belief is the best word for it. Yeah.
No, that's it. And look, man, it's unfortunate. I said this when the season started and when he was thrust into the starting role. It's unfortunately a lot of this is going to be on his shoulders. And can he hold it? And can he withstand all of that pressure and that weight? And he has. And that's the great thing about it is when you are a guy, and I know they don't huddle, but back in the day when you did have to huddle, and guy had to look in your eyes as you made the play call, it made a difference to the level of confidence that you showed. It's the same thing for me, on tempo. The only reason they're able to do tempo now is because of the quarterback. Without that quarterback, you can't do tempo. Yeah. It's this is the first time Bush knows how to do tempo. No, he has confidence and trust in the guy who touched the ball every snap to be able to produce on tempo. And that's what they've been doing. And now you don't have players not knowing what they are supposed to do. If we recall a few games in the beginning of the year, you had guys not knowing where they're supposed to be. That has not happened since Cutter's been the starter for the last 4 to 5 weeks. And that is a testament to him and a testament to these guys getting better week in and week out. But to me, it starts at the quarterback position. He calms everybody down, and now everybody's a little bit more at ease, and it's showing on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's not just for the offense, too. I mean, Ty Bryant he said, I wish y'all could have had a camera on us on the sideline. And I mean, it makes us want to work that much harder because we want to put the ball back in his hands. I forget what year it was, Luckett, when you really started hitting us in the head with the alignment thing. But it does, it's everybody's pulling on the same rope again in that locker room. And it reminds you a lot of the team that they're playing this Saturday,
Well, you had Andre Woodson interview last week, Nick, and I think it reminds me a lot of that. At that point in Rich Brooks's tenure, it was just kind of just barely holding on in a lot of ways. And then Woodson had played. It hadn't looked great early in his year, similar to Cutter.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just kind of took off. And then
after that LSU game.
But it wasn't just Woodson.
Yeah.
It was the guys who came in with him. They all kind of rose together. And with Cutter, I think you're seeing a lot of these class of 24 players. Cam Dooley, Jason Patterson at times, Harley Gilmore at times. You're seeing a lot of these young guys, and even I think on defense, Souls on defense. Yeah. I mean, Gadsden's not in his class, but Gadsden was a 23. Grant Godfrey was a 23. You're seeing Ryan Nichols. We haven't seen him, but he's played as a 24. You're seeing guys from their classes, of that class. Quashie Scott. They're doing it together, and they're kind of rising up together. And for Kentucky, that's kind of for a program like Kentucky. That is the secret sauce. hit on a couple classes together that are really strong. You have the quarterback, and then you can supplement that core with guys from the portal. And like that is the path to really getting to where people want them to get to. And so we're seeing the early, I think, results of that, but there's still ways to go. But you can see like, okay, there's a path to like another level here with this group. And they're just now starting to uncover it together. And that's why I think it's really exciting because it is Cutter. Like Cutter's a big reason for it, but it's the guys like with him and around him in key roles. Those things coming together, I think, really gives them something to build off of, both here in this season and then going into the future.
Which, while we're at it, let's go ahead and get into what Mark Stoops had to say today, because it was not like a typical Mark Stoops press conference. I think we were 3 or 4 questions in, and Stoops was calling out Dick Gabriel. He's like, Dick, you weren't paying attention, man. I just answered that question. And so, it became we got candid Stoops, right? Like it's almost like he is feeling that confidence too from his team. And he's letting the top button undone a little bit, if you will. And he was just much more candid, generally speaking. And he talked a lot. There's a lot of praise for his players, and that's what got him to the next question, which is a question that a lot of people are asking. Well, are they going to be able to keep Cutter? Are they going to be able to keep these young guys? And that's where you get to the money conversation. And, I have the quotes right here. And it's essentially, I'm not going to read it word for word, but he said, I want to set the record straight. I've never been anti-paying the players. But, like, in the past, I was trying to shake some trees to see if some money would fall off. And he said I was uncomfortable maybe talking about it in 21 and 22. You don't want to sit here and say, man, I don't have any money. But at the same time, like, you need to have money. And he says, it's not an excuse. I'm over with it. It's just kind of factual. And he's like, and I also don't want it to be, I'm crying again. I'm not. We're trying to move past it. We're trying to move forward. But I think the most important part of all of this is that, when he talks about money now, I think it's important to note that he's not talking to you, Johnny Wildcat, right? Craig and Harlan or Harry in Hopkinsville. Like, he's not asking you to pony up. And that pissed off a lot of fans at first. And so anytime it got brought up subsequently, they thought he was demeaning fans because he wanted money from them. Now, when he's talking about money and having good players, what he's really doing is he's putting the onus on his boss, Mitch Barnhart, Champions Blue LLC, and JMI. Because when he was asked about if he's confident that Kentucky has the money, every other time he's always said, yeah, I like where we're at. Feel good about it. I feel confident about that. Well, this time it's a little different too. I don't want to give any headline on that right now. We have good momentum and we're really doing really good things and we're working the best we can. It's very complicated on how you can spread that money around. And that Luckett gets back to the JMI deal and pitfalls that we mentioned when that became official a couple months back. Because Kentucky is the only school in the SEC that is saying, handcuff us, make us do nil a certain way when nobody else does. And this, in my mind, it wasn't Stoops. We're going to try to make excuses. It was him saying, no, that was something else. But here's something that is legitimate that I need to put out there that we can't mess up. And why we can't afford to mess it up? See that guy Cutter Bally out there? We got to set him up for success. And we have to do everything we can to set him up for success. That means having money to pay Cutter Bally and pay good players to be around him to make sure we hit the ceiling with this kid.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know every team in the SEC, but I know a few. And I think that's the only way we can go about it because we don't have big time boosters with big time deep pockets. We have a lot of people, a lot of money people with those, that little pocket in your jean pants, a little small pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of those finger pockets and not the ones you stick all 5 fingers in. That is the problem for us, is the deep pockets of our boosters. I know for a fact LSU. I know 2 guys that from my high school that I went to school with that I know that have a lot of money. One of the guys is the richest guy in Louisiana. The amount of money that they give to the college that's in Baton Rouge, you wouldn't believe it. That's the difference between us and LSU is the big time pockets. Texas A&M has a lot of them. Pat Henry, I know him because his son went to school with me at Texas A&M. He's got 2 new tracks in a new indoor facility. He couldn't get that at LSU. That's how much deep pockets they have at A&M. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we are suffering a little bit at.
And the other part of it too is now you're doing the whole JMI thing, and how the levers are being pulled over there to make it work. I don't know how much friction or all of the behind the scenes on how that fell into place, but I will say it's remarkable to me that a month ago we're talking about Stoops. Does he still want to do this? Does he have the fire, passion, and energy to still be an SEC coach? He's now willing to go in a public forum and use – I mean, this is just a 3-game winning streak, but he's willing to use that momentum, that cachet he's built up from that to say, hey, like I'm taking this one game at a time, but I have a plan moving forward for this program to be successful, but we also it has to be funded.
Yes.
Or else it'll look like the Reds with the 23rd payroll playing the Dodgers with the top payroll in the MLB in the opening round of the NL wild card.
Yeah, it's just you've got to have the money to keep the players you want on the team, but also you got to have something when you go into free agency. Like you can't go to Ruby's with a roll of quarters. Expect to get a good meal.
Right. Like you can only eat the bread for so long before, and they come up to you and say, "Sir, are you going to order anything?"
Bread and water.
Right. And so, and he did make that clear too, that retention is their top priority, and that's going to be a big part of it, and it's the thing that they've done well in the past. You mentioned it, Luckett, like with that 24 class. Like they actually have done a good job of evaluating some of those under the radar guys, right? Cam Miller wasn't the highest ranked guy. Cutter I know he was a 4-star and he was highly touted when he signed, but by the time it was all said and done, like he was barely in the top 300. Like he was kind of your average quarterback ranking. Like they're starting to do the thing that they did 10 years ago, which was hit on those mid-level guys. And all right, well, now you got to keep them. You got to continue to develop them. And then you got to have the money to make sure you can keep them and also the money to go find some new guys. So I was fascinated all of it from a big picture standpoint, Luckett, because this season, so much of it has been talking about the big picture, and we wondered how we could get there. Well, this is sort of how Stoops, like, he kind of put his cards on the table to show us how, like, the first steps, he's checking all the some of those boxes, and now it's, okay, what are the next ones? And this is part of the big picture plan.
Yeah, it was just a start, but we're going to hear more of that. Like, we're going to hear it on signing day. Going to hear it moving forward. But, I mean, that's just – it was a little appetizer.
Yep.
For heading into the
some crap
funding, the funding wars. I mean, you're going to – in this new era, you're going to have funding wars. You're going to have public campaigning. for a bigger piece of the pie chart when it comes to rev share and how they're distributing, however the JMI NIL banana stand structure is going to work for the athletic department. And so that's where we're at. Now, I think quickly we're going to move on, but that was just the start of what's coming and what is going to be said, I think, pretty much after every year. And it won't just be like Stoops, like say Mingione and them go to the College World Series this year, Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Or they have a really good season. They're good. He's going to get on his soapbox towards the end of the season. It's not just going to be just football, basketball. Kenny Brooks, if they make a Final Four, let's just say, or they win 13, 14 SEC games or something this year, and you're going to hear him towards the end of the season say, this was a great year, but if we want to keep pushing and moving forward, we're going to need – so it's going to be a never-ending fight for these dollars within an athletic department. And so just how you handle that is, that's going to be Mitch's job. And JMI's job to make sure they're supplementing enough where all these teams have what they're going to need to succeed.
Tom Leach, go over there and crack some skulls. All right, let's.
Yeah, get Mr. Wildcat, the mascot, over there. Go tell him how to roll with a heavy hand.
I'd like to. That's what we should do. We should get. Instead of having the coaches vie for it, we just have Keith Madison, Jeff Pecoro, and Goose Givens sitting at a table, and they're the ones who decide who gets all the NIL money.
Arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Arm wrestle for it.
Paper, rock, scissors tournament. Or I know it's an old video, but we did have a coin flip for Texas high school football playoffs a couple weeks back. That was fun. And the best part of that story, too, is that the coin flip was only possible because one of the teams had won 10 games but had a bunch of ineligible players. So they had to vacate wins, so they had to go to a coin flip. They ended up winning the coin flip to get in the playoffs.
See, those coin flips, this is what is missing with those coin flips, is the locale of where they have these coin flips at a freaking gas station.
Yeah.
In between pump 8 and 5, let's get 5 or 6 coaches in the huddle and let's flip this coin. It falls into the crack. Oh my God, we gotta flip it again. Dude, I can't. That happens everywhere, and I still don't understand why that keeps happening in high school football. It's happened in Louisiana a few times. Like, dude, can we pick a better venue? At least a better venue. At least. Jeez.
In the way that I think we're going to avoid it in the Big Ten. But SEC, we could have some coin flip scenarios. There's some that are still alive. I know South Carolina tried its damnedest to make sure that Texas A&M was amongst them. But if A&M loses at Texas, Georgia still only has one loss. Ole Miss has one loss.
Who am I, Nick? Who am I?
Oh, that's Adam Beamer over there fired up the fans.
It kind of threw me off because you wasn't going to the tunnel, so I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't have the back of my head.
There's a lot of shenanigans in that tunnel down in College Station.
Oh, yeah.
The cop who was shoving Nick Harbor. And, of course, it was a cop that was wearing a cowboy hat, too, right? Like, it's not going to –
Yeah, central casting.
What was he even doing walking up the tunnel? I mean, he was walking up there because he was pissed off.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no other explanation for that.
For sure. That's crazy.
The only thing would have been better if he did that to Beamer. The scuffle we would have seen.
Oh, that would have been good.
It would. All right. The one thing I got to say about that game, if A&M would have done all of that, came all the way back, thoroughly dominated, and then they do a trick play inside the 5, and it goes backwards and they fumble it. If they would have, I mean, they were going to go up at least 8, maybe 2. If they go for it, they could go up 2 scores in the game there. But if they would have gone through all of that just to fumble it and let South Carolina go down and score and win, that would have been the most just like Aggie, beaten Aggie syndrome. What were they? Battered Aggie syndrome. That you just Beamer, man, he would have been just deplorable to deal with this week. So
yeah.
Whew.
There were a couple of A&M boosters with that eject button on that extension when they had their hand over it at that point. Like, no, we're taking it back. Oh my! If you would have lost that game, man, woo, I don't know if he could come back from that with some of the boosters there, because he loses that and potentially maybe losing a playoff berth. Oh, it would have been hard for him, extremely difficult.
Because then, a Texas loss might have just completely taken you out. I mean, exactly. I mean, it probably wouldn't have, but you're leaving it up to chance by losing to a South Carolina team that hasn't won a football game since the first week in October. Yeah, at home too.
The only thing they beat was lowly old Kentucky. That counts 1/4 of a victory.
Yeah, and now South Carolina eliminated from bowl contention. And Luckett, as much as we love to hate on Beamer, it is his roller coaster ride of a career there is something to behold. And
I think it's going to happen more, though, in this new era where rosters are changing so much. You never know how the schedule is going to hit. Like for A&M's a perfect example. They haven't – the best team in the league they've played is Missouri, I think.
Well, they play Missouri next, correct?
A&M plays – no, they only have the Texas game left.
That's it? Oh, wow.
A&M, they haven't played – they didn't play Bama. They didn't play Georgia. They didn't play Ole Miss.
Or Oklahoma, yeah.
They didn't play Oklahoma. So when the schedule hits right, you can have a season like that. But when the schedule hits the other way, you have South Carolina, where they just had this brutal slate. They've had to play Alabama. They've had to play Georgia. Or they didn't play Georgia. They had to play Ole Miss. They had to play A&M. They played 3 of the top, 4 teams or whatever. So, so it's just, you are a prisoner of the schedule in a lot of ways. And that can be good and bad. So I don't like Beamer's a perfect example because I think you're going to see years like this. You'll see the 9-3, but then you'll see in the very next year it can fall apart. And I think it's just going to be that sliding scale for teams, and it's going to be a hard reality, I think, for some to accept. Like look at Texas. Texas's schedule brutal. Mm-hmm. They weren't as good as expected, but they had a brutal schedule. And so just that balancing act is going to be tough, I think, for some teams. But there's also going to be a team like A&M a lot of years where it just aligns for a team in the SEC and they can go on a big run. Like I think A&M's going on.
You're right. I mean, you think about it. They beat Notre Dame, A&M, Arkansas, and South Carolina by like a combined less than 10 points.
Yeah, Notre Dame missed that extra point.
Yeah.
They dropped the extra point. So, but even just the SEC, they just had this. They had a great. It just opened up for them.
Yep.
Well, and what's going to kill Beamer though is that this down year has happened with Lenore Sellers, and that's where a lot of folks are going to be irritated. And I'm fascinated to see how that top tier of quarterback in the SEC that we were talking about going into the year, how many of those guys are going to move in a month between Sellers, Lagway,
right?
Is Austin Simmons going to stick? I know Lane's future's obviously up in the air, but that guy's talented. Is he going to want to sit around? And things are not always what they seem in the preseason. That's why you got to play the games. And to your point about being prisoner of the schedule, it goes back to what I said about all the tiebreaker scenarios. And people finally got back to it on the internet last week where of all of the conference realignment things, of all the things that people hate, conference realignment creating unbalanced scheduling is the worst because a lot of these teams, just how you determine conference champions is not by who you beat. It's kind of by luck and then winning percentage. Ohio State, they are far and away the best team in college football. But part of the reason why is because I know they had Texas in the out of conference, but they avoided everybody in the Big Ten. Yeah. Everybody until Michigan at the end. I mean, they ain't played nobody, Paul. Absolutely nobody. Penn State was supposed to be their one big one, and James Franklin wasn't coaching that game. So weird. Having 16 and 18 team conferences doesn't exactly work out all that well. Who could have seen that? Could have seen that coming.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's weird. It's unfortunate. I can say this about our conference though. Even with the 16 whatever teams, at least the conference has a great. Even the bottom teams are pretty good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I would like to play Rutgers and
Mhm.
Maryland
Yeah.
and some of those teams year in year out, and not have to face like Vandy now. Vandy's not the
Florida.
bottom. If you would like, yes, exactly. I'm sure Ole Miss would have wished to have played a Rutgers this week or Maryland this week instead of having to play a talented Florida team. Like it's just this conference will beat you and grind you out. And unfortunately, this is the thing. Somebody in this conference this year deserves a playoff berth and will not get it.
Yeah.
Just beating each other up.
It just means more, and you can get more, feel better when you're walking Brunt workwear. I got my boots on. Look at that. They're stomping. They're not as dirty at the bottom, but they are comfortable as hell. Christmas is around the corner. Make sure you got the most comfortable boots, whether you're out working in them every day or you just want to look good, feel good, like myself. Brunt Workwear, they make the most reliable, durable, and comfortable work boots in the biz, whether it's the Marin or the Omen. Their boots are top notch. They're durable. They're comfortable. You don't even have to break them in. And they're nice and warm. Like I can wear these with my thin socks. I don't need to put on like some big, thick wool socks for keep my toes cozy. No, these boots, they got it all. They're the best of the best. Try them out yourself. And maybe you're like, all right, I don't really need boots right now. But you know what? You can get some durable gear, whether it's their weather-resistant jackets or their heavy-duty work pants. Brunt Workwear has it all. It's durable, it's reliable, it's comfortable, and for a limited time, you're going to get $10 off at Brunt when you use the code KSR at checkout. You don't cut corners, and neither does Brunt. Visit bruntworkwear.com/KSR and make your workday a better day at Brunt. Gear up this holiday season at Brunt Workwear. Let's take a little bit closer look at the Vanderbilt Commodores, where SEC Nation, they're going to be in Nashville on Saturday. Vandy 0-6 all time in SEC Nation games. I think Kentucky is 6-13. And I was thinking about this because Vandy is number 12 in the country. They've got a college football playoff hopes on the line. Kentucky has a bowl bid on the line. It's like, is this the highest stakes Vandy game in Kentucky football history? Like, is this the biggest game ever? And I said that out loud when we were sitting by Tony Neely today, Luckett. And, of course, Tony was right there with the answer.
That's right.
1999 Van, Dusty Bonner and James Whalen traveled down to Nashville. Both teams had 5 wins. Kentucky's got Tennessee a week later. They got to win to get into a bowl. I don't know who Vandy's season finale was, but Vandy had to win to get into a bowl. I know Kentucky had been the year prior, but hadn't been to a lot of bowl games. Vandy hadn't been to a lot of bowl games. And Jasper Johnson's dad, Dennis got a safety in that game. And then Kentucky had a late forced fumble. Vandy was driving to take the lead. They force a fumble, get the stop, win the game to ultimately secure a bid to go back to the Music City Bowl. This is when James Whalen dislocated his elbow. That was a very unforgettable moment as a kid because I just kept saying they cheated. Like they cheated because they cheated. They took out our best player. They cheated. But games like this don't happen often in this series, and as well as Vandy has played throughout most of the year, it doesn't feel like they are Kentucky is overly outmatched in this game, Van. It doesn't feel like that at all. But it is a game where the margin of error is so thin because of the way Vanderbilt plays football.
Yeah, it's the Spider-Man meme where we both point at each other. We are mirrors of each other. And like I said last week, Diego Cutter is our Diego. And I think now these teams are matching up even better. I honestly think our defense is better than their defense, even with the injuries that we have. I think this is the first time in recent history that I can say I'm comfortable playing in a slug out battle, or if it goes in a shootout, I'm comfortable in the shootout too. I was never comfortable in a shootout. And ever. If it got to 25, I'm like, oh, peace. We're not gonna win this one. I think if it gets to the 30s, I think we can outpoint Diego. And that makes me feel at ease about this game, is that it doesn't have to go a certain way. If it gets into a battle where the defense doesn't play well, I think this offense can put together enough points to out Diego.
And the part of the reason why I like to add to that is middle-eight Mark Stoops is back, man. I thought you might have brought that up as your favorite thing from the Tennessee Tech game, but Luckett, they score just under the 4-minute mark, and then Tennessee Tech goes on a drive, but big return by Law, 2 big plays later, and then Kentucky punches it in. I mean, it was the 30 seconds almost. And it's not like they just did that against Tennessee Tech. Cutter's been going on quick 2-minute drives all year. So you know that they have that in their bag if it is.
They score too fast.
Yeah. But they can go fast and score if they need to, which has not been the case in the past. That wasn't the case last year when that game got into a slugfest at Kroger Field.
Yeah, it's just another, more evidence that this offense is ascending with a young ascending quarterback. Oh, wow, this looks a lot easier now than it used to be. Well, what happened? What happened? Did Mark Stoops let off the reins? Did they change the playbook? Well, what happened in here? You want to come up with all these different conspiracy theories, I think people do. But the bottom line is they've got a quarterback that they just trust, and they're just letting him go.
Yep.
I do love that when did he go all robot on you, Van?
What's that?
Or was that just me? Did he sound like a robot, or was that just me?
No, he sounded robotic, but not a robot.
Okay, yeah. I do love that when like it gets going on a rant, and all of a sudden the internet's like, "Oh, shut the hell up!" Like it. It's like back-to-back weeks.
Right.
That's happened. But the thing that, like you mentioned the defense earlier too. Vandy's defense is like they showed early in the season that they had improved, but it's been a little leaky as of late.
And I mean, it comes down to this. This is why I even feel better about this game is our receivers have been winning one-on-one battles. Their secondary is not the strongest. I think their run game is way stronger than their pass game. And now I feel like let's just say this. If we have to go 5 wide, empty set the whole game, I know that's not the smart thing to do. But I'm comfortable playing that way now. I think this offensive line has proven themselves to be able to give Cutter enough time. Cutter timing and ability to process defenses now is on a level that's good enough to get the ball in his hands and let's march down the field on 5-yard throws every time. I think we're at that level now, and I like this for that reason. Now I think the onus is on Diego. Diego has to put up points on the majority of his drive. I don't know the stat, but how many drives these last 2 games have we punted?
Punted twice in the last 2 games.
So come on, man.
I think it's out of 18 possessions. 2 out of 18, 2 out of 17, something like that.
That's crazy. That's efficient, man. And that's, I'm sure Vandy feels like, you know what Vandy feels like? Oh, that's just Kentucky team we just beat last year at their place. It's a different Kentucky team. And I think these guys, a lot of these seniors and older guys that started last year, remember the chirping because I saw it. And I know I saw it. It was worse on the field. Remember the chirping that happened at Commonwealth last year. They remember that. I think they have some retribution. We're going back to Tombstone now. We got some retribution.
Yeah, Nick, I just want to read off some of Vandy's, let's see here, last 6 games.
Okay.
Utah State scored 35 points. Bama scored 30, and Bama actually ran the ball that game. That was like the one game where like, oh, Jay Miller, everyone's back. And then it's like, no, No. LSU scored 24 points. That is a lot for this LSU Fighting Tiger football team.
Gosh, that's like 50 for a normal team.
Missouri's quarterback gets injured.
Yes.
And then they blew a few scoring opportunities. It was a 17-10 slugfest. But that is the exception to the rule, what Vandy's been recently. That Texas offense that has struggled.
Mm-hmm. 34 points in the blink of an eye. I think it was all in the first three quarters, too.
Yeah, Vanderbilt won 21-0 in the fourth.
Yeah.
They scored 34. And then, is that offense fixed, or is that just they just have major problems? It looks like Texas offense has major problems. Auburn, with the same personnel that scored 3 points against Kentucky, the next week went there and scored 38, ran for 200, and threw for 300. This Vanderbilt defense they've got some problems right now. Yep. And so for Kentucky, you're looking at it like this should be a game where you should be able to go and score some points. You should be able to get in the 30s against this defense if you take care of the football and don't mess up when you have scoring opportunities. Now, you're probably going to need it because Vandy's offense can absolutely go. They're going to score. You're not winning this game 17-14 in my opinion. You're going to have to go score some points to win this game. But they are struggling on defense, and I think it's if you're ranking defenses, I think it's the worst defense Kentucky has played. Take out Tennessee Tech, worst defense they've played since Tennessee. In general, I think it's probably the second worst defense they've played outside of Tennessee. And so I would expect points in this football game on Saturday.
Vegas certainly thinks that way too. The total right now is 50. Where do I have it here? 53.5, which seems high for a game where you don't anticipate, 7, 8, 9 possessions. That's typically how they operate. But
yeah, I don't think either punter is going to get much work in this game.
Good. Good.
Huh.
Go out there, throw it around the yard.
Laros needs. Hey, can we preserve the ratio to Laros then?
No kidding.
That would be great. Punter gets an extra year of eligibility because he only need to kick 4 times. Feels like that could happen at Ohio State this year. I am just excited to get to Vandy because it feels like that stadium had been under construction for 5 years. So we get to see the new digs in the West End at First Bank Stadium. So, and I'm also curious now that Kentucky's won 3 games in a row, how many people just say, hell, 3:30 kickoff, we can get there and back in a day, right? Or find a place in Nashville to stay at night. How many Kentucky fans decide to make the road trip? Fascinated by that. And then, I hadn't thought of the retribution element, Van. That feels like it could be playing into here. And here one other thing too. So eventually, Diego Pavia's confidence has to bite him in the ass, right? Right? Nobody can live their life with that kind of supreme confidence without it eventually biting them in the ass. See Johnny Football. But I know there's a lot of people that have hopped on that bandwagon that have that Tennessee game circled as their crowning moment, right? It's kind of like the year that Louisville brings Kentucky into town and they're going to the ACC championship and this is going to be their coronation. Then Ray Davis goes and punches them in the mouth. It feels like a lot of them have that circled. Who knows if that's the case in between on that team. But it'd be a real shame if there was a little bit of that festering in that locker room where they've had a bye. Maybe they come out a little bit sluggish. So I don't know. I'm feeling on the more optimistic side because you have to, just the way that you've watched this Kentucky football team play over the last 3 weeks. So I have supreme confidence that Kentucky's going to go play well, which I did not think that would be the case going into this. But this is a big opportunity to send a message that, hey, this wasn't just us beating up on some bad teams with coaches who were getting fired, right? We can go out and beat a quality football team.
Arch Manning, Ty Simpson, Ashton Daniels have all thrown for 300 yards against this defense. The other three SEC quarterbacks were Garrett Nussmeier, and then Lenore Sellers gets injured in the first half, and Bo Pribula gets injured in the first half.
Wow, you're right.
Big opportunity for Kentucky's offense this week.
And that secondary from Vandy's chirps, dude. I love them because of the chips they are chirping. This is a chance to shut them. You know what's up, because I'm sick of them. I really am. I'm sick of them because they get that from the quarterback. That's not really their character. That's not their norm. That's not their default. They get that from playing in practice against him. And now it's time for our receivers, Law and Hester and the two Miller, that's to shut them up. Shut them up. That'll feel good.
I hope the people listening are as fired up as we are. And then the bigger picture, I'm calling out the radio show. Drew, are you a coward? What are all these people scared? Matt asked them the percentage chance. You know me, love the percentage chance game. It's my favorite game that gets played all the time. Percentage chance that Kentucky wins one of the next two. I'm at like 95%. And I would even go so far as to say it. I'm like 50-50 Kentucky wins out. Have you watched the Louisville Fighting Cardinal Birds play football? You score 30 points, you're winning by 20. They can't do a damn thing on offense without Isaac Brown just going 75 yards for a score. That offense is anemic. And that game Friday night, it was comedy. It was a comedy of errors, subbing kickers, missing PATs. Dabo can't score from inside the 5. Like, you cannot – if you watch Kentucky play football over the last month and you watch Louisville play football over the last month, there's zero people that watch both those teams play and thinks that the team that wears red is going to beat the team that wears blue. Like, it's just – your eyeballs cannot – your brain cannot see that, say that. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to go bowling. Like, surely these words won't come back to bite me in the ass.
We got to go 1-0 first, Roush. We got to go 1-0. Go 1-0, then we can worry about 2-0.
Hey,
not worry about 2-0 before we get to 1.
They can talk. We're not looking ahead. I'm going to look ahead. I cannot wait to be throwing L's down. I mean, we found out today that's going to be a noon kickoff for the Governor's Cup, which that's for the best because Louisville fans, it'll be cold at night, and they don't want to show up if it's cold at dark. So we got a nooner on the ACC network for the season finale. So got that news today. Fired up about that. It's so good. Like, things sucked, right? We just have to acknowledge how bad and awful things were a month ago, and how great they are now. I mean, we weren't even talking football and 11 personnel, Luckett. It was all coaching carousel stuff. I mean,
there for a couple weeks, 100%.
Like, we couldn't even talk X's and O's. The power of hope, the power of momentum. People who say that momentum is not real are liars because it builds so much confidence. It starts with the players. It bleeds out in the coaches. It's a cyclical effect where now the coaches are willing to be more aggressive, right? Then the players are more aggressive. That throw that Cutter had to Hardley, I mean, he had two dudes run into each other. It was such a tight window. When you have that sort of confidence, it could take you to places you didn't think you could be, and I did not think we were going to be here at this point, at this juncture in the season. So it's a testament to this team for not quitting, for not giving up. They set the table. Now it's time to eat. 2 big games ahead. You got the Commodores first, Diego Pavia, a chance to ruin a special season Saturday in Nashville, and I'm fired up, man. I'm fired up for it, Van, and I have a feeling this is going to be one of those games that, win or loss, we're going to be talking about for a while because it's going to be fun. Like, there are going to be people who are flipping channels on Saturday, and they get on Twitter and they say, "Oh, what's happening in Nashville?" And they got to turn the channel on, and that fourth quarter is going to be nutty. I can guarantee that.
We are due for a one possession victory. We haven't done that. I don't know since when. We are due
Ole
for
Miss,
a
right?
one possession.
No, Auburn technically, but
Auburn technically.
yeah.
Oh, okay, no, I don't count that. I mean a possession where in the fourth quarter is who has the ball last. Can you stop them? Can they? We need one of those wins like we were doing when we was winning 9 regular season games. We need one of those, and I think we are due for that. I think we're due for 2 of them. But I'm gonna go with one first.
To your point, like I go back to, and Soups got asked about it today. Vandy does it feels like they're doing almost identically what Stoops did, but Kentucky had Benny Snell as their guy, where they have Diego Pavia as their guy. Very similar. They scored more points doing it, and Kentucky also had a Josh Allen on the other side. The defense was much better, but the physicality with which they play, how they're able to seemingly win games they shouldn't in those one-score situations, like there are a lot of similarities into what Clark Lee is doing. And hell, Luckett, he even said that at some point, right? Didn't Clark Lee say that? Like he kind of used Stoops as the model or something?
It was either at this past media day or the media day before.
I think it was the media day before. Yeah.
He said pretty much like we use Kentucky as a model. What Kentucky did was kind of how we that was the path we wanted to go. Yeah, and I think it was and he said Kentucky and Stoops. I can't remember exactly where it was, but yeah, it was something along those lines.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, be a real shame if Kentucky was the model ends up wrecking their very special season.
And another return favor angle, Vanderbilt last 2 trips in Lexington, they've won as a double-digit dog.
Mm-hmm.
Now Kentucky's actually a dog. Now they finally get to play the underdog role. Kentucky hasn't lost in that building since 2015.
Ooh, that was
fake punt.
Was a bad
game.
one. Yeah. Drew Barker gets in, some awkward interview afterwards.
It's some red zone malfunctions.
Oh, DJ Elliott. DJ Elliott had a doozy of a quote after that game. Or was that when the Shannon Dawson, if it would have worked, you would have loved that game? I think that was it.
That game or not, but it was around that time, I think.
Yeah. So let's not repeat that. Let's keep this winning streak rolling. Kentucky's won 3 in a row. They keep winning at Vanderbilt. 3:30 kickoff on ESPN this Saturday. Cats open as 9.5-point dogs, up to 10 in a lot of places. Time to go make some magic happen against the number 12 team in the country. We'll be down there on Friday night. Might have some details on where we're meeting up to watch the Kentucky basketball game.
Roush can't go. You can't go, Roush. The last away game we won, you were not. No. Finally, that one of your buddies get married again.
Hey, I will not be there the night of the game. Does that count?
Okay, that counts. Okay,
yeah. We're driving back afterwards, so that counts.
Okay, that counts.
I'll save the post game celebration party for everybody else. So, but it's been, man, it's a lot of fun. Hopefully, we keep the momentum rolling, and we're here to celebrate another victory next Monday after the Cats take on a top 15 team. We'll be back-to-back years with top 15 victories on the road.
Yeah.
Just saying. Well, that's all for the KSR Football Podcast for Van Hiles and Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats.